Juventus Venezia, Juventus Venezia, Juventus Venezia. That's the only thing that we need to have in mind from now on. Juventus Manchester City 2-0 was beautiful and I love to repeat it, but now it's the past. Pay attention to Juventus Venezia because I'm really worried. What Juventus will we see in Serie A after the big, beautiful victory in Champions League? Ciao Juventini of the world. My name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. I'm here, of course, to repeat you to subscribe to the channel. We are really close, extremely close to 35k. That's what we need to do to have always a bigger, better, more loyal, stronger, solid community of Juventini of the world here on the channel. So I'm counting on you to put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because now we start. Why am I worried? Because I always told you, Di Francesco is, according to me, one of the most overrated coach of Serie A. He's always finding a bench in Serie A, and at the end of the season he goes in relegation. But that doesn't mean that he's bad. That doesn't mean that it's a coach that doesn't understand football. It's a coach that in the single game, he also has these matches, these games that are really fantastic. We saw what he did, for example, last year with Frosinone. We saw what he did in the past also with Roma, with other teams that he managed. He has this single team, especially with against big team, where he can really put that team in difficulty. So the single game of Di Francesco is something that we don't have to underestimate. No, because we know it on paper, it's easy, you play against Venezia, but pay attention for that. And then, of course, the return of Hans Nicolussi, that is at the moment really extremely in form, and he's also starting to score with continuity. Continuity is the word that I told you before the game of Manchester City, that I told you during Manchester City and after Manchester City. Continuity. If we want to believe in something beautiful, if we really want to dream about something great and extraordinary, if we want to raise the bar, we need to start putting victories next to each other in the row. Juventus Manchester City. Then we need to win against Venezia in Serie A tomorrow. We need to win in Coppa Italia during the week against Cagliari. And then the next one, 2, 3, 4, and then going up with this continuity. That's the most important thing that Juventus needs to do. And you know what is beautiful? That we have also beautiful news from La Continassa, because yesterday we saw and we felt some beautiful good vibes from the J Medical. Andrea Cambiaso, that today should be called up. Well, we will see it tomorrow because it's tomorrow as we play at home. So tomorrow we'll see it. But Andrea Cambiaso should be there on the bench. Not sure if he can start. If he doesn't start, probably Danilo will play again on the left with Savona on the right. Or maybe something else will be invented by Thiago Motta, but he should be there with the team, which is an excellent news. And the other excellent news is that Nico Gonzalez, he can't wait to go back. We couldn't wait to have him back. We were waiting for him. We were asking ourselves, where is Nico Gonzalez? Well, Nico Gonzalez, he was able to receive the green light from the medical staff to say, I want to be back training with the team, because in the last few days there was the possibility of him also missing Venezia. Not sure if he will be called up, because if he missed Venezia, he will be there against Cagliari in Coppa Italia, but it's or Cagliari or Venezia, and it's extremely good to have Nico Gonzalez with us, because there is one keyword for all the games that we will play, because we don't stop. It's not because it's Christmas, it's because it's New Year, because we will go towards 2025, that you will have these days like 1 week, 2 weeks of rest. And no, because as soon as the clock will hit 2025, we will go in Saudi Arabia to start the Supercoppa. So having all our players back, the most of them, is extremely important. Also, that's why there could be a possible mini rotation in the starting 11, maybe seeing Weston McKennie from the start, maybe seeing Timothy Weah from the start, resting, for example, a tired and a bit frustrated Conceição that we saw against Manchester City. So good news from l'Infermeria. I'm super happy. Ragazzi, this weekend, on paper, we see a lot of our opponents that are playing against smaller teams on paper. So, of course, Cagliari, Atalanta, we can already say predicting Atalanta will have the 3 points. The same for Napoli, that will go and play against Udinese. Fiorentina will be playing against Bologna, so pay attention, because that's a mini derby that can be extremely important. We know the past from Italiano, that is playing against his ex-team, but on paper, Milan is playing against Genoa. So we see these teams that are playing against smaller teams on paper, which Juventus, they need to do their job. Playing against Venezia, you need to do their job. No alibi, no excuses, no injuries. We don't care. We need to go there in our home and continuity. Playing, winning, 3 points. Waiting for the big game of Monday. The Monday night game will be great. Lazio-Inter. With one of them two of them possibly that will lose some points. So it's the opportunity for Juve to go there. To go there, again, up, because at the moment the gap is too much. Don't miss the games of Serie A. That you want to pick one that you are interested in. For example, Atalanta. That you want to pick only one game, Juventus Venezia, because you are in UK, you are living in Ireland, and you are on the go, and you want to watch the game. You don't want to miss the game. You know it. The link is into the description. Pick the game starting at $4.99. If you don't want to pick the game only, but you want better, more, you can go with a team pass, or you can even go with a full season, 24-25. One football and Serie A, they match together for UK and Ireland. The link is in the description. Go for it now, before it's too late. Right? Now. Lazio Inter, I can't wait for that game. That's a game that I will watch and probably will do watch along. Tell me if you want to watch along of Lazio Inter. Let me know. What are the conditions of the team? Milan is really in difficulty. They have internal problems. Theo Hernandez, Leao, that sometimes is up, sometimes it's down. So they are in a down moment. Then the other ones, Atalanta, they come from a beautiful performance against Real Madrid, but they lost. They spent a lot of energy trying to go for the 3-3 that Retegui missed in the latest seconds. Let's see how they will come back on Cagliari. You never know, huh? You never know. Mentally totally tired, and because they gave a lot in the last few weeks, you need to be there. And then you have an Inter that lost in Champions League. They will play against Lazio that is really informed. They also won against Ajax 3-1. Again, guys, everything can happen. We need to do our job, and our job will be extremely important. Now, at 12 p.m. Italian time, there will be the sorteggio from the Italian national team in the World Cup, who will be there in the same group for the qualifier at USA 2026. Hopefully, Italy can be there. Guys, at a certain point, it's really too long. If you are missing 2 World Cup editions, we need to be there. And we will discover against who will play. But most importantly, at 11:45, there will be Thiago Motta that will speak. No, 1:45. At 1:45 p.m. Italian time, there will be Thiago Motta that will speak in front of the journalists, answering their question, understanding what he will say, and who will be called up for a game of Venezia. So expect also a second video where we'll go towards his words. Now, Motta. Call Venezia come Fossil City. That's the request. Motta against Venezia like if it was City. Super important. You remember that I said I want 2 things from Thiago Motta, and boys, I want from the boys. Behavior from the first second. From Thiago Motta, a masterclass tactically. Something that we didn't see against Bologna. Something that we really saw against Manchester City. Well, that behavior we cannot miss. And looks like the boys, and we heard it from Dusan Vlahovic after the game, they spoke about it. They understood it. They said it's not possible that we react after conceding a goal, after this. We need to be there immediately from the first second. And looks like they understood the message. We need to play from the beginning. We cannot miss the behavior. We are playing at home at a certain moment, basta. Our home was, and I remember really well, one of the strongest points of Juve. The other team, that when they were coming in our home, they were scared because of the supporters. And let's say that since the end of last season, but also this season, we hear the supporters at our back, also with some tambourines, with the flags, not like in 2011, 2010, 12, but still better, way better. Now it's the boys as well that needs to be there always from the first second. And that's the moment when the other teams, like a Venezia, for example, they will travel. They will go in our extremely beautiful stadium. They will hear the supporters. They will see a Juventus already from the tunnel with the eye of the tiger. Super important. Now, when they are saying against Venezia, like against City, pay attention, because I start reading in Tuttosport already that they are asking themselves, what about the ball possession? Because more ball possession we have, more we don't know what to do with the ball, more we are sterile. And this is something that we need to solve. Small question from Tuttosport that is legit, that is understandable. What I didn't like, for example, this morning was the one of Corriere dello Sport. Corriere dello Sport that goes with a huge page where you see Kefren Turam, where you see Dusan Vlahovic with Juve. Il ritorno, Juve, le retour, Juve, the return, Juve is back. What are they referring to? Contropiede, so counter-attack and defense, that's the formula of the success. The Bianconeri are stronger and more lethal when they go with open field. We need to do everything. We need to be able to do everything, are the words of Thiago Motta reported on Corriere dello Sport. With the domination, the control of the game in Serie A, 9 draws. Calma. calma. Ivan Zazzaroni, that is the boss, the director of Corriere dello Sport. We know it. He has always had a friendly relationship with Max Allegri, that you know that I have respected a lot, and I still respect a lot Max Allegri, but calma. We didn't play an Allegri way against Manchester City. There were some similarities, absolutely yes. It was an intelligent game of Juve, absolutely yes. But the way that we were avoiding that first pressing, that first wave, the way that we wanted always to go out of that first pressing with a really clean ball possession, a beautiful accurate passes to go out of it, finding our men that were always unmarked, is something that you cannot even compare. It was totally different, a total different game in the details. Then that Thiago Motta needs to pay attention to adapt to some teams, to not always be like this with we want to go with one thing and only one thing and that's the only thing that works. We all agree. That's what also Thiago Motta said after the game. I am absolutely not like that. I can change. And on that one I agree. Now against Venezia, if we start playing against Venezia like we did against Manchester City, that's not the answer. That's absolutely not the answer. Against Venezia, we should have again that ball possession. But we also need to put intensity from the first minute. And on top of that, that ball possession should be a creative ball possession, something that we are building on, not only something extremely sterile. So the article of Ivan Zazzaroni, according to me, makes totally no sense. What I liked were the words of John Elkann after the game that said to Thiago Motta and boys, così è bello vedere la Juve. This way, it's really beautiful to see Juventus. What is he referring to? The way that we play, of course. But not only, especially the victory. The victory over one of the strongest team of earth. And don't start with, but it's a moment of crisis. We won against Manchester City. We won against Manchester City. And that was beautiful, the 3 points. Because at the end, you can speak, you can say whatever you want. Ball possession, goals, no goal. The most important thing is winning in a sport, in football. And winning give us now the possibility to again believe not only to qualify directly to the top 24, but maybe even entering the last 8 or the first 8, let's say, to directly qualify in Europe. Super important for Juve. Thanks to the victory, thanks to the fact that we have 11 points and we are at -2 points from the third one. Well, there are a lot of possibilities, a lot more than before the game. Before the game, we had 7% chances to enter directly in the last 8, or the first, I don't know how to say, the first 8. Now, with that win, we go up at a huge, beautiful percentage. That is 21%. So if Juventus is able to win the next 2 games, so 3 points against Benfica, 3 points against Bologna, we have 21% of going up, of course, depending also what the other teams are doing. But at least we have done our job, which is extremely important. If we don't, that percentage of 21 goes dropping to 6%. Now, if you tell me, Beppe, but the qualification is at risk or not, the playoffs are not at risk because you have a 96% of possibilities to enter the top 24. Only a total collapse disaster and also the stars that are going aligning towards I don't know what can be and put Juventus in difficulty. So we have that. We got that, the top 24. Now, let's hope and dream about the top 8, but that's something that we will come back about in the month of January, because we'll play the Champions League, the 2 remaining games in the month of January. Ragazzi, that's what I wanted to tell you about today's video. We see each other in the second part of the day with the words of Thiago Motta, and probably also something about Dusan Vlahovic that was sponsored a lot about from Gazzetta dello Sport. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you're asking yourself, Beppe, why are you recording with your jacket and you are here until the end of the video, it's simple. I totally forgot to take it off because I came from outside. I went here. I said I will take it off. I totally forgot. I'm sorry for that. But it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed the jacket. I love it. And then we're thinking about Wea and Weston McKennie. That could possibly be also, again, against Venezia, extremely decisive. And maybe from the start of the game. Put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe. Grazie, forza. Juve.